Hi everyone, it's been a while, isn't it? I can finally bring you a project I wish to work on for a long time, ever since I came across it. As you might remember, I had an unfortunate accident with my printer where I had to replace the FAP. Anycubic is a Chinese company, but fortunately they can ship from European warehouses as well, so I did not have to wait an extra long time for the replacement. Changing the damaged one to the new one was a bit of a long process, but it was easier than I expected, so there were no issues there. I could finally focus on the project, which is Captain Tsubasa, of course, as you have seen from the title. This is one of my favorite anime series ever since my childhood, but it really does not have that many pretty official figures. So I was happy to come across the Patreon of the team Blue Spray, who made a whole series of amazingly sculpted CT figures, not just with the usual three of Tsubasa, Wakabayashi or Hyuga, but the whole team. They also have a Gumroad store where you can buy not only their Captain Tsubasa series, but their other amazing works. I cannot recommend enough to check them out. After buying and downloading the files, I selected Jun Misugi as my first statue to print. Then came another weird problem. My printer would not recognize the sliced files that I made through Anycubic's official slicer program Photon Workshop. I've been using it since the beginning because it seemed more convenient than others, like Box, which I really hated by the way. But now I have found myself in a predicament that I had to find a different program, hence I went to Lychee. Or at least I hope this is how it's pronounced. Since I had no idea how the program worked, I did a test print with the pre-supported files of Misugi, and that kinda came out disfigured. You might remember that I hardly ever hollow my prints because it's so hard to get resin out of the caverns of the items, and if something is trapped inside and you cure it, the statue will eventually crack and your figure is ruined. So I like to place the supports myself to places I know that I can erase later easily or that do not ruin the patterns of the figure. Unfortunately, the pre-supports ruin much of the back of the torso, which would have been almost impossible to repair even if the neck and the collar would have been intact. So I dug into Lychee tutorials to find out how to size and rotate the items in the program and made my own supports, which the printer had no problems with anymore. I sized up the figures with 25% to make them slightly bigger than the original pop-up parade figures. So with the base, Jun Misugi is about 24 cm tall. After sanding, it was time to repair the small cracks with putty, to do a test fit and begin the base coat. For the bases, I really tried to use up my remaining grey colored primer from Vallejo, that is called Ghost Grey. For everything else, I usually use Desert Tan. I've been thinking of getting a spray-on primer in future because I really like the effect the airbrush primer had in my previous Mara Jade figure, but I'm so unskilled with the airbrush that a spray bottle of primer would be a better solution. Before even starting with the colors, I was thinking about what skin color I should use. If we look at the series, most of the boys in the original artworks are rather fair-skinned, with the exception of Hugo, of course, who is heavily tanned due to his various jobs he does to support his family. But also, we are talking about football players here, who are out practicing all the time, so it would be natural to have a little more tan. Misugi is a special case though, since he has this heart illness that really limits his possibilities of practicing and actually playing, so it would be natural to have him with a bit of a paler complexion. So at first, I went with a faint colored Fairy Flash from Vallejo's Fantasy Pro Fairy Flash set, but that looked really yellowish and sickly and unusual compared to the original artworks. So I went back to my comfort color with Citadel, which gave him a healthier look. This is when I noticed that on one of the legs, the free-hanging shoelaces were broken. I don't know at what part of the process that happened, if it came out of the printer like that or broke during the washing, but I knew that there was no way I would reprint that. I tried to sculpt it from Tamiya Putty, and while it's not as pretty as the original, it looked fine to me. This was not the only thing I decided to repaint later. Misugi has a somewhat light colored hair compared to most of the other characters, a neat light brown. I painted the first coat of the hair with a Vallejo color called Cork Brown, but when it dried, it seemed way too light for me, so I did a mix to darken it, and it looked more like in the pictures. I've used that later for the eyes and the eyebrows too, because I realized black was way too harsh. I was tempted at first to go with Misugi's old colors from the original series, where Team Musashi has yellow shirts and blue pants. I think the blend of white shirt in the reboot series is kinda meh. I really love the lavender pants though. I decided for the new colors later, since I plan to paint the rest of the figures like this too. For the shirt, I used dark tan mixed with white to lighten it a bit. For the pants, I did the same with violet. This model had a lot of narrow, fine lines. On the shoulders, the captain's armband, the number 14 on the shirt and the pants, the kanji on Misugi's chest. Honestly, it was a nightmare to paint. Looking back at the footage, I realized my lines look kinda messy, but don't worry, I went back off camera later to correct what I messed up. I decided to paint the shoe not just simply black but glossy black, since many of the real-life manufacturers make them in all sorts of fancy colors and materials, which do look shiny. As I usually do, I left the eyes for the last as a cherry on top, and when everything was in its place, I used Vallejo spray on varnish to fix the paint. Here is the final look. I see the faults in it and I hope to learn from them in future, but as a first part of a series, I'm content with it. You can expect a lot of Captain Tsubasa content here on the channel in the upcoming weeks and months. I hope you will enjoy them. Thank you for staying this long and watching this video. See you in the next one.